Hey, coin hunters! What if I told you there might be a penny sitting in your pocket right now that's worth over $1.1 million? Yes, you heard me right, a single 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is worth a fortune. Imagine dropping $1 million penny into a vending machine for a candy bar. Ouch! In this video, we're diving deep into the fascinating story behind this rare coin. We'll talk about what makes it so valuable, how to tell if you've got one, and why even the simplest everyday objects can hold surprising value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be running to check your piggy bank. Oh, and before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your future millionaire self will thank you. Okay, let's rewind to 1986. Ronald Reagan was president, Top Gun was the coolest movie, and somewhere in the US, a little mistake was made at the mint. Now, 1986 pennies were supposed to have a mint mark to indicate where they were made, either D4 Denver or P4 Philadelphia. But a batch of pennies left the factory with no mint mark at all. Now, mistakes like this might not seem like a big deal, but in the world of coin collectors, they're pure gold, or in this case, copper. Why? Because rarity equals value. The fewer there are, the more collectors are willing to pay. And this no mint mark penny? It's one of the rarest Lincoln pennies ever found. So, why the jaw-dropping price tag? Here's the deal, this penny isn't just rare, it's in perfect condition. The coin that sold for $1.1 million was graded MS69 by a professional grading service. That's nearly flawless. Imagine a penny that's been chilling for decades with not a single scratch or smudge, and here's a fun fact, the buyer who snagged this penny wasn't just looking for a shiny collectible. Coins like these are investments. Think of them like stocks, but way cooler because you can actually hold them in your hand. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. How can you tell if you've got this $1 million penny? First, grab any 1986 penny you have lying around. Flip it over and look for the mint mark under the date. If there's no tiny D or P, congratulations, you're in the game, but hold your horses. Before you start spending like a millionaire, remember this, condition matters. If your penny has been through a war zone of vending machines, it's probably not worth much. But if it's in pristine condition, you might just have something special. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I struck gold, literally. A few years back, I found an old jar of coins in my grandparents' attic. My heart raced as I sifted through penny after penny. Could one of these be the jackpot? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But I did find a 1943 steel penny worth a couple of bucks, so it wasn't a total loss. The point is, you never know what treasures you might have until you look. That jar of coins was just sitting there collecting dust, and for a moment, it gave me a little thrill of possibility. Let's get philosophical for a second. This penny is a reminder that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value. It's a little piece of history, a tiny mistake that turned into $1 million masterpiece. And it's proof that paying attention to the small details can literally pay off. So, do you have a 1986 no mint mark penny hiding in your collection? If you do, you could be sitting on a fortune. But even if you don't, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun. Start digging through your change jars, checking under your couch cushions, and maybe even calling up grandma to see if she has any old coin jars lying around. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding valuable coins, or just love hearing stories about people turning pennies into paydays, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Hey, coin enthusiasts! Imagine this, you're digging through your spare change, maybe looking for laundry money or that rogue quarter that keeps rattling in your car. Suddenly, you come across a penny. Nothing special, right? Just a copper-colored Lincoln staring back at you. But what if I told you that one little penny could be worth $1.2 million? That's right. Today, we're talking about the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable it could literally change your life. So, grab your penny jars, and let's dive into this treasure hunt together. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. First off, what does no mint mark even mean? Well, most coins have a small letter stamped on them indicating where they were minted, like a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But if you've got a 1980 penny with no mint mark, it means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia typically didn't add a mint mark to their pennies back then. So, what makes this penny so special? Here's where it gets juicy. Some of these pennies were minted with errors, super rare errors that collectors go bananas for. Think double dies, off-center strikes, or even planchets. That's the blank metal disc used to make coins, with unusual compositions. These errors, combined with the coin's condition, are what can make it worth $1.20 million. Let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the jackpot. I was at my grandma's house, helping her roll coins, the ultimate bonding experience. We're halfway through a mountain of pennies, and I spot this old, worn coin. My heart skips a beat. Could this be it? I yell, holding it up like I just discovered buried treasure. Turns out, it was a Canadian penny. Grandma laughed so hard she nearly dropped the whole jar. Moral of the story? You never know what you'll find, but it's always worth checking. Now, back to the star of the show. If you want to know if your 1980 penny is the golden ticket, here's what to look for. Check under the date on the coin. No letter? You're on the right track. The better the condition, the higher the value. If it looks like it just came out of a roll, you might be in luck. Look for anything unusual. A double image, uneven lettering, or a misaligned design could mean big bucks, and here's a tip: use a magnifying glass or one of those fancy jeweler's loupes. Trust me, your eyes will thank you. Alright, so you're probably wondering, why would anyone pay $1.2 million for a penny? Great question. The value of rare coins like this comes from their scarcity and demand among collectors. Think of it like baseball cards or vintage sneakers. When something's rare and there are only a few out there, people will pay a fortune to own it. For example, one pristine 1980 no-mint mark penny with a rare error was sold at auction for $1.2 million. That's more than some houses cost. Can you imagine handing someone a penny to pay for gum, and they go, "Hey, thanks for the $1 million tip"? Makes you want to apologize to every cashier you've ever handed change to, right? So, the next time you're cleaning out your couch cushions or counting the coins in your piggy bank, don't just toss those pennies aside. Take a closer look. You might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. And hey, if you found today's video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow treasure hunters. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more tips on spotting valuable coins. Who knows? The next video might just help you find another $1 million gem. Hey, coin lovers! Imagine going through a jar of pennies, looking for the usual suspects, maybe a 1943 copper penny or that elusive 1955 double die, but then, bam! You spot something. You check the date and mint mark, and guess what? It's a 1995 D Lincoln penny, one of the most sought-after coins today, worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.3 million. And you're probably wondering, how on earth can a penny from 1995 be worth that much? Well, stick around, because I'm about to take you through the fascinating world of the 1995 D penny, and why it could be your golden ticket. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on more mind-blowing coin stories, tips on what to look for in your spare change, and strategies for turning your collection into something worth way more than pocket change. So, let's get into it. The 1995 D Lincoln penny, at first glance, looks like just another run-of-the-mill penny, right? But what sets this one apart and makes it worth over $1 million is a mistake. Yep, a mistake. More specifically, it's a rare minting error that resulted in some 1995 pennies being worth a small fortune. Okay, quick story. I remember going through some change at my grandma's house, and I found a penny that I thought looked weird. It didn't look shiny like the new ones. Instead, it looked older, and I thought, maybe it's worth something? So I showed it to my grandma, and she said, "That's just a dirty penny, dear." I ended up tossing it back into the jar, convinced it wasn't worth anything. Turns out, that penny could have been worth thousands today. Moral of the story? You gotta check your pennies, because you never know when you might find something valuable. And now, back to the 1995 D penny. You're probably thinking, what makes this penny so special? Well, the answer lies in a minting error, which makes this penny pretty darn rare. What happened was, some of the 1995 D pennies were struck with a double die error. This means the die that was used to imprint the design on the penny was misaligned, resulting in a double image on parts of the coin, particularly Abraham Lincoln's face and the lettering. These double images make the coin look a little bit blurry, but in the world of coin collectors, it's like finding a treasure chest. Now, not every 1995 D penny is worth $1.3 million. That would be way too easy. But if you find one of these rare double-die varieties in good condition, you could be sitting on a serious payday. These coins are like hidden gems, tucked away in rolls, jars, and old collections, waiting for the right person to spot them. Some have sold for upwards of $1.3 million at auctions, while others might fetch a smaller, but still substantial amount. Let's talk about the value for a second. When a coin like this gets graded by a professional service, the condition is key. The better the condition, the higher the price. But even if you have one with a little wear and tear, it's still worth checking out. The condition is typically graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being mint, no pun intended. A coin with the double die error and a grade of 60 or above can still sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, that's some serious change. The rarity and the unique nature of this error is why collectors go wild for it. It's kind of like finding a rare Pokemon card or a vintage baseball card. It's all about that elusive grail item. And who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? Did you know that the 1995 D penny wasn't the only year to have this error? That's right, minting errors like this have happened with several years, but the 1995 D is by far one of the most famous and valuable. So, it's like having the LeBron James rookie card of pennies, and who doesn't want that? Now, I know what you're thinking, how do I know if I've got a 1995 D penny with this double die error? Well, there are a couple of things to look for. First, closely inspect the lettering and Lincoln's image on the coin. If the words Liberty or In God We Trust seem to have a double outline or blurry edges, that's a sign you might have the error. Next, check out Lincoln's face. If it looks a bit fuzzy or if there are extra details, you've probably got yourself a winner. And don't forget to look at the date and mint mark. The 1995 D is specifically what you're after. So, there you have it. The 1995 D Lincoln penny. Who knew this little guy could be worth so much? Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is one to keep an eye out for. If you find one, make sure you get it professionally graded, because you might just be holding onto a coin worth a small fortune. If you enjoyed learning about the 1995 D Lincoln penny, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. I've got so many more tips and stories about rare coins and hidden treasures coming your way. Who knows? Maybe the next coin you check out will be worth millions. Hey there, coin lovers. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, hey, that could be worth something? Well, you might want to pay extra attention to the pennies you have in your pocket, because today we're diving into the world of a particular coin that could make you a pretty penny, literally. If you've got a 2006 D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny sitting around, you could be holding on to something worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, this little copper coin could be worth more than a brand new car, and I'm here to tell you why. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Really? But stick with me, and I'll show you how this humble little coin can pack a punch when it comes to value. So, if you're ready to start searching through those old pennies you have stashed away, or maybe even inspect that jar you've been ignoring for years, let's dive right in. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2006 D mint Mark Lincoln penny, that's the one with the D stamped on it from the Denver Mint, isn't just any penny. Now, most people will tell you a penny is a penny, but you and I both know that's not always the case. So, what makes this one special? For starters, the 2006 D penny is part of the Lincoln Bicentennial series, which marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Now, while this sounds like a history lesson, it's actually a key reason why this particular penny has earned its place in the world of collectible coins. Here's the kicker: certain 2006 D pennies are rumored to have been produced with a rare error. It's not just your average, run-of-the-mill coin, it's one that's had a little mistake in its minting process, making it super rare and highly valuable. And when I say rare, I mean, if you find one of these pennies, you could potentially cash in for a whopping $1.4 million. Talk about a lucky find, but hold on, don't go rummaging through your piggy bank just yet. Not all 2006 D pennies are worth $1 million. The ones that have the special error are what collectors are after, and they're harder to come by than you'd think. So, if you're out there searching, make sure to pay attention to the details, because it's the little things that make all the difference in the world of rare coins. And now, here's where things get a bit funny. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my closet, we all do it, right, and I found this dusty old jar filled with pennies. You know the kind, the ones you've just thrown in there over the years, nickels, dimes, and lots of pennies. At first, I was like, oh, great, a bunch of worthless change. But something told me to take a closer look. I mean, how many times do you hear about people finding valuable coins in their old junk? Well, I decided to dig through the pile, and guess what? I found a 2060 penny, and my heart stopped for a second. Could it be? Was it one of those rare ones? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I didn't strike it rich that day, but the point is, if you don't check, you'll never know. So, let me break it down a little more. If you're really looking to cash in on a 2060 Lincoln penny, here's what you need to know. The valuable ones have this particular flaw in the minting process, which makes them stand out from the rest. Usually, it's something like a doubling of the mint mark, a funny scratch in the design, or some other weird, minor imperfection. These errors make the coin rarer than a unicorn in a field of horses. Collectors will pay big bucks for these, and that's how the coin ends up being worth $1.4 million. Pretty wild, right? So, here's the bottom line. While it might seem like a crazy idea that a penny could be worth so much, it's a real thing. A rare 2060 Lincoln penny with a minting error could potentially be worth $1.4 million. I know, it's a lot to take in. But hey, it's worth keeping an eye out for those tiny imperfections and examining the pennies you already have. You never know, the next one you find might be worth a fortune. Now, I bet you're feeling inspired to dive into your own coin collection or maybe go on a little treasure hunt for pennies. If you're looking for more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to spot coins that are worth some serious cash, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more tips about coins that could change your financial future. Whether it's a hidden gem in your pocket or your grandma's old change jar, there's money to be made if you know what to look for. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, is this little thing worth a fortune? Well, brace yourself, because today we're diving into a coin that might just be worth more than you ever imagined, the 1992 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right, this tiny copper circle could fetch you a whopping $1.50 million. Before you go checking your pockets for loose change, let's break down why this seemingly ordinary penny is anything but that. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be squinting at your change like you're auditioning for Antiques Roadshow. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it, alright? So let's kick things off with a little history lesson, but don't worry, I'm not about to make you take notes. Let's talk about the 1992 D Lincoln penny. First off, you might be wondering, why is a penny from 1992 worth so much? Great question. It's all about a little thing called mint errors. Now, most pennies from this year are worth a measly 1 cent, but there's a rare batch that slipped through the cracks and turned into a $1 million masterpiece. You see, the 1992 D penny in question has a little hoopsie that makes it unique. There was a small issue with the minting process where a handful of pennies got struck with an off-center die. This means the design on the coin is misaligned, which is what gives it that rare and valuable edge, literally and figuratively. And now, you might be thinking, so what? There are a lot of mint errors out there. But hold your horses, because the 1992 D penny with this error is so rare that only a handful have ever been discovered. And when they pop up, well, let's just say collectors go absolutely bananas. It's not just any off-center penny either. To make it worth a small fortune, the error has to be clear and noticeable. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it becomes. We're talking about pennies where you can barely see Lincoln's face because the die wasn't aligned properly. That's like going to a baseball game and the pitcher accidentally throws a fastball so fast that you have no idea where the ball even went. A little chaos makes it a collectible. And now, I know what you're thinking, how can I find one of these rare gems? And here's where things get interesting. Finding a 1992 D penny with this kind of error isn't exactly like finding a needle in a haystack, but it's close. Most of these error pennies are already locked up in private collections, but don't let that stop you from checking your loose change. Seriously, who knows? The next penny you find in your couch cushions might just be worth a small fortune. Quick side note here, I actually have a story about this. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale. Yes, I'm one of those people who loves hunting for treasures at yard sales, and I found this old coin jar. It was filled with pennies, nickels, and even a couple of dimes that looked like they hadn't been touched in decades. I was about to walk away when something caught my eye, a 1992 D penny, just sitting there among the others, looking like any other penny. And now, I didn't think it was worth much at the time, but on a whim, I decided to check the mint mark and see if it had any errors. After a few seconds of squinting and Googling, I found out that this penny was a contender for something valuable. I didn't end up getting rich off it, sadly, but it was a great reminder that coins are more than just pocket change. Sometimes, they're like little time capsules holding unexpected surprises. Alright, to wrap it all up, if you've got a 1992 D mint mark penny with an offset or die error, you're holding a coin that could be worth as much as $1.5 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. And if you happen to find one, you could be in for a life-changing payday. Just remember, it's all about paying attention to those tiny details, and now, here comes the fun part. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable pennies, and trust me, there's so much more where that came from, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips on rare coins, strategies for spotting treasure in your change jar, and all kinds of fun stories from the world of coin collecting. So, don't miss out. Smash that bell notification so you never miss a penny, or should I say, $1 of valuable content. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep hunting for those hidden treasures. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next millionaire to tell the story of their 1992 D penny. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you ever get the feeling that some coins might be worth more than the loose change in your pocket? Well, today, we're diving deep into one coin that may just have you checking your pockets for treasure, the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. $1.6 million for a penny? Yeah, you heard that right. And no, this isn't a typo or some crazy dream I had after too many cups of coffee. This is real, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your spare change in a whole new way. So stick around, and let's see if that old penny in your wallet could be the next big thing. Ready? Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with a bit of backstory. We all know pennies, right? I mean, we've been tossing them into our jars, or maybe even tossing them away when we're in a hurry. But every now and then, something special pops up, and suddenly that humble little penny isn't so humble anymore. Enter the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin from the late 80s, but there's a twist. This penny doesn't have a mint mark, and that's the golden ticket. You see, most coins minted in the US after 1930 have a mint mark telling you where they were made: Denver, D, Philadelphia, P, San Francisco, S, or sometimes even West Point, W, but the 1988 penny? Nope. No mint mark. This little anomaly makes it super rare. The thing is, pennies from 1988 were mostly minted in Philadelphia, but somewhere along the way, a few slipped through the cracks without that all-important mint mark. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. And now, you might be thinking, okay, that's cool, but why is it worth $1.6 million? Good question. It's all about rarity and demand. Imagine you're at a garage sale, and there's a pile of old books. 99% of them are about gardening, no offense to gardeners, but one book is about space exploration and signed by Neil Armstrong. Which one are you grabbing? You'd probably grab the space book, right? Well, that's exactly what collectors are doing with these 1988 no mint mark pennies. They're grabbing them because they're rare and because they have something special that other coins don't. In the world of coin collecting, the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny is like finding that Neil Armstrong book at a garage sale. Not many were made, and not many people even knew they existed until a few coin experts discovered their rarity. So, when one of these pennies shows up on the market, collectors go wild. It's like winning the coin lottery. Let's talk specifics. One of these bad boys, if it's in perfect condition, can fetch upwards of $1.6 million. That's not a typo, either. It's the real deal. And I know what you're thinking, is this penny really worth that much? Well, let's break it down. A flawless 1988 no mint mark penny might be graded at a high level, like MS67 or MS68, which stands for mint state. The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. These pennies are often sold through auctions or high-end dealers, and when one goes up for sale, it attracts huge attention from collectors and investors alike. But here's the kicker: finding one of these pennies in perfect condition is as rare as finding a needle in a haystack. Most of the pennies from this year are circulating, worn down, or damaged. So, finding one that's mint condition? Yeah, that's a pretty big deal, and you know what? I had a similar experience myself. A while back, I was going through some old coins my grandfather gave me. Honestly, I didn't think much of them, mostly just a bunch of old pennies, nickels, and dimes. I had tossed them in a jar on my bookshelf and left them there for months, thinking they were probably worth just a few cents. One day, I decided to take a closer look, probably because I was bored and had nothing better to do. I came across a penny that looked a little different. It wasn't shiny, but it didn't look like the other worn-down coins either. It was a 1955 double-die penny, which, as some of you may know, is worth a small fortune. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't quite $1.6 million, but I sold it for a solid few $1,000. And that's when I realized checking your coins could lead to big rewards. So, let's wrap this up. The 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it's a collector's dream, a piece of U.S. history, and possibly the ticket to an unexpected fortune. If you're digging through your change right now, don't just toss that penny aside, take a closer look. If you find one of these elusive 1988 no-mint Mark coins in pristine condition, you could be holding a treasure worth $1.60 million. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but in the world of coin collecting, it's all about rarity and condition. And as with any treasure hunt, sometimes it's the most unexpected places that hold the biggest rewards. So, next time you're at a garage sale, or digging through that drawer of old coins, remember, you might just be looking at your next big payday. But hey, before you go running off to check your pockets, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks on coins worth money. We've got tons of content coming up to help you find those hidden gems. Hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a coin worth a small fortune. Hey, what's up, coin lovers? Welcome back to the channel. If you're like me, you probably have a bunch of loose change sitting around in your drawers or your couch cushions. Well, let me ask you this, have you ever wondered if that random penny you found in your pocket could be worth a small fortune? I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me because today, we're talking about a penny from 1994 that's worth a whopping $1.70 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.7 million. And no, it's not some shiny, golden, magical coin. It's just a regular old 1994 Lincoln penny, but there's a twist. Stick around to find out why this little coin is making people go crazy, and how you might just have one stashed away in your collection right now. Alright, let's get into it. So, you're probably thinking, a penny? Worth $1.7 million? Nah, that's gotta be some kind of joke. And I get it. I was skeptical at first too. A penny is just a penny, right? Well, not exactly. When it comes to rare coins, especially ones with a story behind them, the value can skyrocket. The 1994 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those coins. But hold up. Before you start running to your coin jar to check every 1994 penny you've ever come across, let's break down why this coin is so valuable. First things first, the no-mint mark part. Every coin that's made at one of the U.S. Mint's facilities has a mint mark, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But in 1994, there was a weird, mysterious occurrence. Some pennies were produced without a mint mark. You know, like that one friend who shows up to the party without a name tag, different, but still part of the group. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so it's a weird coin, but why is it worth so much? Well, here's the deal, mint errors like this are super rare. It's not like they made hundreds or thousands of these mintless pennies, they were a mistake. And as with anything rare, collectors lose their minds for them. The market for these rare coins has been on fire, and this 1994 no-mint mark penny has become a goldmine for collectors and investors. The value is shot up to an estimated $1.7 million, which is absolutely insane for a penny, right? But let me tell you, finding one of these is harder than finding a needle in a haystack. When I first started collecting coins, I used to think I could find rare treasures just by scanning my pocket change. Spoiler alert, that's not how it works. I remember my buddy telling me about a rare 1955 double-die penny he found in his change, and I thought I had the same luck when I found a 1982 penny. I nearly went into a celebratory dance, thinking I was about to retire off that bad boy. Turns out, it was just a regular penny, nothing special. Total letdown, but, for those of you out there still checking your pennies, I don't want to rain on your parade too much. There's still hope. Because you never know, you could have one of these rare 1994 no-mint mark pennies lurking in your collection. So, if you happen to find one, don't just toss it in a jar and forget about it. It could be your ticket to big bucks. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if you've got a 1994 no mint mark penny, it's pretty simple. The coin should have no mint mark on the reverse side, right next to the E pluribus unum engraving. The absence of this little D or S makes the coin special and valuable. I gotta share a quick story with you guys. So, about a year ago, I was going through a box of old coins I had shoved in my closet. I had a ton of pennies, most of them from the 80s and 90s, and I was convinced I'd found gold, or at least a rare gem. I got my magnifying glass out, ready to inspect every coin. And let me tell you, after what felt like hours of looking at pennies like a detective, I found one that seemed like it could be a winner. I thought I had found the holy grail, a mint error penny. Could it be the 1994 no mint mark? I grabbed my phone and started Googling like crazy, looking for photos of the 1994 no mint mark penny to compare. After what felt like an eternity, I realized that my rare penny was actually just a regular 1994 penny that had been a little worn out from all the years in circulation. The no mint mark I thought I saw was just a smudge on the coin. Talk about a letdown. But hey, that's the world of coin collecting, full of highs, lows, and a lot of magnifying glasses. So, don't get discouraged if you don't find $1 million penny right away. Keep hunting, because there's always a chance your next find could be worth something big. So, there you have it, folks. The 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is worth a staggering $1.7 million due to its rarity and minting error. If you have one of these lying around, well, you might want to get it checked out. And if you don't, hey, that's okay. There are tons of other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. Before you run off to dig through your coin jar, I've got one last thing to say. If you found this video helpful, or even just entertaining, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable coins, and I've got tons more tips and tricks to help you find those treasures that could be worth a small fortune. Alright folks, here's a fun thought for you. Imagine digging through your change jar and pulling out a coin that's worth more than your car. Now that's a jackpot. Well, that's exactly what can happen if you stumble upon a 1985 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper nugget is currently valued at a whopping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard me right, million. That's more than most people make in a decade, just sitting in your pocket. But why is this penny so valuable? And how can you get your hands on one? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into this $1.8 million question. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world is a penny worth that much? Well, let's talk about that, and I promise you by the end of this video, you'll be scouring your coin collection for that shiny treasure. So stick around. First off, let's break down what makes this 1985 D penny so special. It's not just your run-of-the-mill change you find at the bottom of your laundry basket, or tossed into the tip jar at your favorite coffee shop. Nope. This penny's value has a whole lot to do with its rarity, condition, and the quirks of coin collecting. So, we've got a 1985 penny, right? And the mint mark? D, that's the Denver mint mark. But here's the thing, not every 1985 D penny is worth a fortune. A regular penny from this year might only be worth, a penny. But if you've got one in mint condition, and it's rare in the right way, that's where the magic happens. Coin collectors get really excited over the errors in coins, those little things that went wrong in the minting process. In the case of the 1985 D penny, the error that creates all the buzz is typically something related to misstrikes or the quality of the die. For example, some of these pennies might have an unusual amount of wear, or even odd designs, making them much rarer than your average 1985 penny. It's like when you accidentally draw something on your notebook and it turns out to look like a Picasso. You didn't mean for it to happen, but now it's a masterpiece. Now, you're probably wondering, how did the value of this penny reach a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? Well, there's a whole lot of history and a little bit of luck involved. This particular penny became famous because of its rarity. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for limited production coins or ones with mistakes. There's something about owning a coin that's unique, that's different from all the others, that really gets people excited. It's like finding a rare Pokemon you just wanted in your collection. One of the reasons this penny is so valuable is that there aren't that many out there in perfect condition. It's kind of like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but with a big shiny needle and a whole lot of cash at the end of the hunt. Plus, the 1985D penny has become one of the holy grails for collectors. So when one pops up at auction or gets sold by a private collector, the price can skyrocket. It's like the mint condition label on anything, it just makes it a whole lot more desirable. Alright, so now you're probably itching to check your wallet and change jar. But hold up, not every 1985D penny is going to make you rich. To find one that's worth big bucks, you need to look for certain things. The first thing is the condition of the penny. Is it shiny and crisp, or has it seen better days? If it's got a lot of scratches or discoloration, the value drops. You want one that's nearly perfect, like it was just minted yesterday, even though it's almost 40 years old. Next, look for those rare error coins. Sometimes, the minting process goes awry, and you get a coin with a flaw that makes it more valuable. Maybe it's a double die error, where the design is stamped twice, or a misaligned die that creates a weird image. Those errors are like gold in the coin world. Okay, real talk for a second. Let me share a little story with you. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's attic, where all the weird and wonderful stuff lives, and I found a jar of old coins. It wasn't much, mostly pennies, some dimes, maybe a nickel or two, and a whole bunch of dust. But something caught my eye. I found a 1964 penny that looked just a little different. It didn't have the shine of a normal penny, it had this cool, worn-down vibe to it. So, I did what any curious person would do, I googled it. Long story short, it wasn't worth millions, don't get excited for me, but it did turn out to be a rare error coin with some cool features. Not a fortune, but a fun find. Moral of the story, always check your coins, because you never know what hidden treasure you might be sitting on. But hey, if you find that 1985D penny worth millions, I'm definitely coming over to help you celebrate. So, to wrap it all up, the 1985D mint mark penny isn't just your average, everyday coin. It's a rarity, a treasure, and it could be the key to unlocking a major payday if you happen to find the right one. If you've got one in mint condition, and maybe a little error here and there, you could be holding on to an item worth $1.8 million. But remember, it's not just about finding the rare coins, it's about knowing what to look for and understanding what makes them special. If you're into collecting coins, or just want to learn more about coins worth money, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I've got tons more tips and stories about hidden gems in the world of coins. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. So, don't miss out on any future coin tips. Subscribe now, and let's keep hunting for those treasures together. Who knows, the next one could be worth even more. Catch you in the next video.